Imagine for a moment that every choice you have ever made, every decision that feels uniquely yours, was already determined before you were even aware of it. Not guessed, not influenced by chance, but fully determined by processes quietly unfolding inside your brain. Long before the feeling of, "I decided," ever reaches your consciousness, that idea is uncomfortable. It challenges the very sense of identity and control we take for granted. Yet, there is a famous thought experiment that suggests this might be closer to reality than we like to admit. It all starts with the way we experience decisions. When you move your hand, say something aloud, or even decide to scroll through your phone, it feels as though you consciously initiate that action. There's a moment where intention appears, and then your body responds. But what if that moment is an illusion? What if that conscious feeling of, "I decided," is actually arriving late, like an afterthought, after your brain has already started the process? Decades of neuroscience experiments provide a chilling hint. In classic studies, participants were asked to perform simple actions, press a button whenever they felt like it. While they waited, scientists monitored brain activity. The results were startling. The brain showed a measurable buildup of activity several hundred milliseconds before participants reported becoming aware of the decision to act. In other words, the brain had already begun the action before the person even felt they had decided. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. The machinery that leads to your choice starts working before your conscious mind catches up. By the time you feel in control, your brain may have already committed to the outcome. This doesn't mean your experience of choice is fake. It means your sense of being the author might be more of a narrative constructed after the fact. Now, consider a thought experiment built on this very idea. Imagine a device so advanced it can read your brain signals with perfect accuracy, it doesn't guess. It observes the earliest neural changes that signal an upcoming choice. It announces your decision 1 second before you even feel it. You hear the device say, "You will press the left button," and 1 second later, that is exactly what you experience yourself choosing. From your perspective, the choice still feels voluntary. You feel the urge, the intention, the certainty that you made the decision freely. But the device was already correct before you consciously acted. At that moment, one question becomes unavoidable. Where exactly is your freedom? You might argue, "I could simply change my mind and prove the machine wrong." But here's the catch. The moment you decide to change your mind, that decision too is the product of neural processes the machine can detect in advance. The machine would simply update its prediction. You would still feel in control, yet your sense of agency would always lag behind the actual processes in your brain. This is the essence of the thought experiment that has unsettled philosophers and scientists alike. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that consciousness may not be the origin of our choices. Instead, it might be the narrator, the part of the mind that observes, interprets, and rationalizes what has already been set in motion. Think about the complexity of the human brain. It's influenced by genetics, upbringing, culture, mood, stress, past experiences, and countless small, almost invisible inputs. At any given moment, these influences interact in ways you don't consciously perceive. Decisions emerge from this hidden web, and your conscious self experiences only the final output, giving it the comforting, but potentially misleading, feeling of control. This experiment also challenges our understanding of responsibility. If choices are determined before we are aware of them, to what extent are we truly accountable? Are we responsible for actions that originate from neural processes outside our conscious control? Or is the notion of responsibility simply a social construct necessary to maintain order, rather than a reflection of true causality? Yet there's a nuance here. Even if your conscious mind doesn't initiate every decision, it can shape the kinds of decisions that occur in the future. Through reflection, habit formation, learning, and self-improvement, you can alter the structure of your brain. This means freedom may not reside in single, spontaneous moments of choice, but in the gradual shaping of the mind that generates those choices. In this perspective, freedom is not the ability to create a choice from nothing. It's the power to influence the patterns that produce choices over time. You are not the initial spark that starts the fire, but you control the arrangement of the fuel, determining how future flames will burn. This thought experiment doesn't destroy free will, it transforms it. It asks us to reconsider what it really means to be in control. Perhaps agency is not about instantaneous decision-making, but about cultivating the mind and life that produce the types of choices we want to make. And there's something profoundly human in that realization. Even if your conscious mind isn't the origin of every action, it remains the architect of the environment, habits, and character that guide your future decisions. Your sense of identity, responsibility, and purpose still matters. It just operates on a longer timeline than we intuitively imagine. Ultimately, this thought experiment invites a humbling yet liberating perspective. While you may not control every fleeting choice, you can shape the trajectory of your mind. You can influence the framework from which decisions arise, and in doing so, you wield a deeper, subtler form of freedom than we usually recognize. So the next time you feel certain that you are making a choice purely of your own will, remember that your brain may have been working behind the scenes before you were aware. Your conscious self might not be the spark, but it's the gardener, tending the seeds that will shape the garden of your life. Freedom, then, is less about individual moments and more about the ongoing process of shaping the mind that makes those moments possible. And in that, there's still immense power, responsibility, and wonder, and if this exploration of the mind and free will make you think. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us continue exploring the hidden corners of human consciousness, perception, and the fascinating questions about what it truly means to be free.